Hello, happy Wednesday. Wednesday? Is today Wednesday? I don't know what day it is. But hello, welcome back. We are doing a mover mailbag. Hello, Laura B. Good morning. I'm glad you showed up because I was worried no one would show up. But I've got some mail, and we will open that here in a second. I've also got two articles I wanted to cover. Kind of a hybrid, right? You guys usually get early access to videos. Well, you're going to get early access to the filming of the video, which is even better because I'm going to clip this and then put it on the channel to save some time and energy. Luna Bell is, hold on, let me get her little Luna cam up. Extra camera. And she just walked in. She's going to walk out before I finish, probably. What is... Uh-oh. I didn't like that. Uh-oh. Why is it doing that? It's giving me the spinning wheel of death. Oh, there it is. I don't know why I didn't like that. She left, by the way, while I was messing with that. So much for the Luna Cam. We tried. What's up, JD? Good morning. Thank you for being a member for 25. Have we been doing this that long? I guess so, because I started this back in 2018, 8 years of the YouTubes. So, what's up, John? How you doing? Oh, keep up. Ethor, what's happening? Yeah, we're not cool enough for Luna. She's a busy girl, man. She's the grand marshal for a parade, and that's gone to her head. And I just fed her second breakfast. So, she just walked in because she heard the crinkling of the papers. Hi. Yes. You think you got mail? Is that what this is? We'll see. I'm told you do. So we'll see if that's true. But I'm afraid to do the Luna Cam again because I don't want it to crash the system. Let's see if that'll work again. Extra camera. I don't think it likes having... Yeah, it doesn't like having two cameras. I don't know why. There's Luna. Trying to sleep now. She came in. But I can't have two cameras. So it's either you see me or Luna. I know you guys are going to vote for Luna, but I feel like that defeats the purpose of doing this. Let's see here. Well, good night, Angie. I don't know where you are. You're always traveling, so you know. Gundam Blade says, morning, Mover and Luna. Hope you're doing well. Quick question. Any news episodes of Everything Else with Mover? When are you flying back with Lester? And last, did you ever see the Hindu movie called Fighter? So we may do Everything Else tonight, actually. I have to talk to Doug. He wasn't really feeling up for it last week, which I needed very little excuse not to do it because I was tired also. So we might do it tonight. And when are you flying back with Lester? That's a great question, and I don't know the answer to that. I thought it was this week, but I have not heard from the man, so no idea. Maybe next week. We'll see. Luna has... I can't do the Luna Cam, baby girl. It crashes the computer. It doesn't like it. So we're just going to... I will narrate Luna's interest in this. We're going to open this. Last question. I've not seen Fighter. I've seen the trailer. We ruined the trailer. So this is this one. And it says, it's from Hawkeye. Hey, Mover, just a quick note to keep up the good work. Included is the Gettysburg patch and some treats for Miss Luna. Well, that's why her nose is all the way up in it. Let's see what it is. Yeah, the Gettysburg. There needs to be a missile coming off of it. I guess it would be over here. Coming off of it, and then a Hornet getting shot down. Right? Like there needs to be more to it. And then the treats. She's super sniffing this one. Let's see what she says. She is very interested, and she has accepted the treat and demanded another. And one more. Okay, you're going to get fat, so we're just going to stop that for now. Yeah. And what's up, Chili from Australia? Good morning. JB Smoke, good morning. She is the best girl. Am I frozen now? Should be fine now. No, they're never going to live that down, and nor should they. I mean, because if you shoot down your own aircraft, it's frowned upon, and you deserve all the ridicule that you get for such actions. All right, Luna is now interested in whatever this one is right here. Let's see. It is a box. This looks very fancy. Luna, are you getting proposed to, girl? Oh, check that out. It's a Luna Bell. This must have taken a while to get here. It's not going to focus. Focus. There it is. What happened on 12/12/25, though? I don't remember. That's a cool ornament. But what is the significance of 12/12/25? There's no note or any. Hold on, let me see if there's a note in here, because it's a interesting. Of course, it's beautiful. It's very nice. Let's see. Is there a note in here? It comes from Alal in California. It's cool, but there's no note or amplifying information, so I don't know the backstory on 12/12/25. It was a Friday, says Laura B. Okay. Not Friday the 13th, so that's good. All right. Let's talk news, because this is interesting. When I first saw this, I thought this was actual first kill of the F-35, but it's not. So the U.S. Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that one either. I don't like that one. I don't like that one. We'll go with that. So the U.S. F-35C shoots down Iranian drone headed for the Lincoln. You can see old Fat Amy there. They used a Marine Corps, and this is what's crazy to me. The Marines kicked and screamed, and they had to have Fat Amy with VTOL, because VTOL this and VTOL that, and what if we need VTOL? And here they are, non-VTOL. They ruined the whole program to get their stupid lifting fan, and then here they are flying the one that's actually cool, which could have been so much cooler had they not cried about VTOL that they don't even use now. It's like the little kid that's like, I need to have it. And then here you go. They don't even use it. So an Iranian Shahed 139 drone was shot down by F-35C as it approached the Abraham Lincoln in the Arabian Sea. This was on February 3rd. So yesterday, it was flying towards the Lincoln in the Arabian Sea, prompting an intercept. The officials specified that it was the F-35 from Carrier Air Wing 9, which includes among its squadrons Marine Fighter Attack Squadron VMFA 314 flying the F-35C. C, not B, C. And everybody's always like, Mover, you hate the F-35. I love the F-35. I think it could have been so much cooler if the Marines had stayed out of it with their lifting fan needs, because everything that's wrong with that jet, and the reason it's Fat Amy, is because of that dumb bulge in the back that they had to make modular so they all look the same, even though it really doesn't need it. It's also the reason it didn't have lightning protection for a real long time. But there's an update. They said the unmanned aircraft was aggressively approaching the aircraft carrier with unclear intent. Well, that's pretty clear intent to me if it's approaching. in an aggressive manner. They continued to fly toward the ship despite de-escalatory measures taken by U.S. forces operating in international waters. The carrier was 500 miles off Iran's coast. It's unclear which measures were used, but it's assumed that they intercepted. That's what it looks like. That's what the carrier looks like, in case you were wondering. It says an F-35C from Abraham Lincoln shot down the Iranian drone in self-defense and to protect the aircraft carrier. They don't know what it was using. Could have used 9X, AIM-120. It even has the GPU 8 25 millimeter gun pod, which is also crazy. Why not just put the gun inside like the F-35A? But still, they used the C, and it could have been a 9X, which would be the cost to expense ratio a little high on that one. I wonder if they have APICWAS rockets, because remember in the F-15E, they were using the Advanced Precision Kill Weapon System, APICWAS, laser-guided rockets to shoot them down, which is a much better cost-effective solution. The gun is pretty cost-effective, too. And then after that, there was also the U.S.-flagged crew merchant vessel in the Strait of Hormuz that was intercepted by IRGC boats. And then the Navy's like, okay, well, we're going to send an Arleigh Burke-class missile destroyer to escort. And not only did they do that, but there's another article that's not in here. They used the F-16 flying top cover as well. So, yeah. But here's what the Shaheed looks like. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. Looks eerily similar to our drone that was shot down in Iran at the border there. Very similar. That's what the Lincoln has. So that's the article. I thought when I first saw it, I was like, oh, man, it's the first one. But if you actually look, Israelis have used their F-35 to shoot down drones. The F-35 has been used against drones before. I don't know if the F-22 has, but I know the F-22 has at least one confirmed balloon kill. So, but even still, is a drone kill a kill? We've argued this before because a Wizzo got an award for being an ace. And you're like, is that really something qualifying you for being an ace? I don't know. But still, good work to the F-35C pilot, Marine or otherwise, that did the work. And if I were to pick an airplane to do it, the F-35 would be the one, because it probably does very well finding drones with all of its sensors that it has on board. I mean, the helmet's probably like just tracking it the whole time. And it's like, okay, well, which one I'm going to pick? AMRAAM's a little bit overkill for something like that. I could see 9X. I could see the gun. Gun carries higher risk. Anytime you're trying to shoot something real slow, that's a much higher risk, like helicopters. I remember, drone shoot downs in the past where it's almost like a high angle strafe of a moving target versus like BFM or dogfighting that you would do. But I mean, it's very likely they just use a 9X, but they got to defend the fleet. And this is what it is. So we'll see how this plays out and whether it continues an escalation in the region. So I don't know. You let me know what you think, because this is very interesting. So, all right, enough on that one. Let's see what the chat is saying. Happy early birthday. Yeah, God. I don't do birthdays anymore. It's just depressing. Vito might be easier to melt the crayons with. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they have this fantasy about, well, we're going to land in an austere environment and we're going to be forward deployed, and then they end up on the carrier in a C model. Like, come on, man. I would even argue that the Marines don't need fighters at all, but that's just me. All right, Steve says, hope I can ask this here, but going back to the Biffle mishap, did it sound like they realized the elevation at the airfield was 970-ish? Well, I'm sure they did, because that's their home drone. Did we realize it talking about it? I mean, yeah, well, but it doesn't really change much except that they were super low and super drug in. I don't know why they did what I talked to T-Bear about this yesterday, and we're still like, what the hell? I didn't talk about it before, but we kind of alluded to it in the video that unfortunately some people are not cut out for single pilot operations. And it's not because they're bad, it's because that's how they were brought up. When I went through pilot training, and even early in my career, flying general aviation, I always had the single seat mindset. Like, I'm on my own. I'm going to do this by myself. I'm not reliant on anyone else. Dutton was not that. He did not go through T-38s and get the single seat mentality. He did not go through IFF. He did not fly a single seat fighter for his career in the military. He flew C5s. And he was an airline guy for a really long time. And I know, like, some other YouTubers talk about, well, I've got 20,000 hours. And it's like, yeah, but you got 20,000 hours with a crew and on autopilot. And nothing wrong with that. It's fine. But when you're talking high stress single pilot stuff, you have to have the right mindset. And he didn't. I mean, he didn't. I don't know why they were in such a hurry, if something else was going on in that cockpit. But I will say, just like the Louisiana helicopter crash, if you knowingly, willfully violated the CFR, the FARs, as they used to be called, there's no excuse. There's just, like, I think it comes back down to, if they had been 2 qualified pilots up there, then maybe this is a different outcome. But because he was, cowboying it up, putting his son up there who has no experience. Now, granted, was it the first time they had done this? Was the son familiar with it? I don't know. Maybe so. But even still, he wasn't qualified on paper. He didn't have multi-engine training. He didn't have the SIC training. So I don't know. You and T-Bear go back to the 16, right? No. T-Bear hired me as a student hire in the A-10. So when I was in New Orleans, he was the director of operations, and I called him up one day and said, sir, I want to be a fighter pilot. And he's like, well, you're in college. And he invited me out to go interview, and I took a GS3 student hire position. And that's where I know him, from the A-10. That the unit bracked and closed, and he went up to 10th Air Force as a staff guy, and I ended up going to Homestead flying the F-16. So we flew together once or twice in T-38s, because that's where we met up again in our careers. He was attached down at Tyndall/Eglin, and I was I was down there. Sorry, I was meaning in the confusion of the quick turn. Maybe they thought they had more altitude. I doubt it. No, I don't think for them, I don't think that's the issue. I mean, because you could see the ground, right? No, I don't see that. When is my birthday? It's classified. I don't want y'all starting credit card apps in my name. But it's also not February 13th. That sounds unlucky. How current was the pilot? I think he had 400 hours in type, they said, and he had just gotten his type rating not too long ago, or at least renewed something. So I think he was pretty current, but that's a good question. No, I'm not wearing the Phoenix. I ended up getting this because it has some aviation stuff that I like you can pop up the radar, you say what the wind directions are. The battery's not as good as the Phoenix was, but I started getting annoyed with the Phoenix and got rid of it. So, all right. So there's another thing we wanted to talk about today that I wanted to make a video on. And that is, give me a second, bookmarks. So BAE put this out. We're going to share this tab instead. So BAE put this out, and it is innovating today because you haven't heard much about the Tempest, right? This is, we've talked about it on the Mover and Donkey show and a little bit on this channel, but I haven't heard much about it. So this was the first time I've really seen any kind of stuff put out, and they put out this video, which is not much, right? Kind of looks like a Raptor there, which is, I mean, it's a good looking airplane. I mean, the Raptor's a good design, but we're going to go to their website, see no HUD, helmet, fancy helmet, incline seat or recline seat, I should say. And that's really all they did. But then if you go to their website, it is pretty darn incredible. So they say this is the future of air combat. They're leveraging and developing the best technology in existence, working in partnership with academia and high-tech SMEs. Innovation sits in everything we do. You see some VR goggles there. Here's the technology that they've come up with, which is pretty eye-watering, right? Like, obviously, they've got the next-gen radar, powerful radar that can do a whole bunch of stuff. Got it. That's not a big deal. The advanced digital cockpit, software-driven interactive cockpit allows the pilot to take control using gestures. Gestures. I wonder how, because when I see that, I'm like, okay, that sounds great on paper, but a grimy cockpit that's being worked on by, you know, an 18-year-old with a wrench, whew, you know, hope it can stand up and not, it works. Like touchscreen stuff, you know, it gets all grimy, voice activation, it stops understanding you after a while. But it's an interactive cockpit. Augmented and virtual reality displays project vital information directly in front of the pilot's eyes. Augmented reality in a fighter. You know, there's augmented reality stuff already on the table for training, right? Where they can project adversaries into a helmet, and instead of having to spend a whole bunch of money on red air, they, you know, they're just in a real airplane, but merging with a virtual entity out there to get the training, which I think is pretty cool. I knew some guys that were working on that. Integrated sensors, you know, sensor fusion, that's always been a huge part of everything 5th gen and above. But, you know, that's pretty standard. Intelligent weapon systems. So they're going to use AI and machine learning. Hope it doesn't become self-aware. The system exploits information from the aircraft to maximize the effect. And that is what you want. Part of the sensor fusion is data interpretation, taking all the information that your sensors are giving you and making it something that's understandable and relatable. And, you know, whereas, you know, I'm old school, right? So I'm memorizing ranges, I'm memorizing weapons envelopes and all that stuff. Well, you got AI telling you, you know, shoot, dummy, this is a threat. You know, this is when it's going to be a factor. Like it's extrapolating and interpolating all that data. And I think that is highly useful and beneficial. So that'd be something real cool to have. Software-driven system, open systems architecture, allow easy and rapid changes in capability. Yeah, I mean, plug and play, right? Advancing emerging tech that you can take out the old stuff, upgrade without having to buy a new jet or have to worry about like what the F-35 is doing with the TR-3 and all, et cetera. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool, being modular. And then this one I thought was interesting. Efficient power. It's a world first electrical starter generator, safe space, and provides the massive amounts of power required. So most fighters have, like the Hornet has an APU, auxiliary power unit, and the F-16, for example, has a jet fuel starter. So having an electrical starter generator, lightweight, I mean, that's interesting. Saves space. The only thing that's weird is the tails are real small, but I'm sure there's some measure of, you know, thrust vectoring or something that's also. So then we get into the extended reality, which this is where I'm like, wow, I'm geeking out on this because it's, the pilot has the helmet visor, which you hope doesn't break. F-35 had a huge problem with this, where when the thing broke, you were done. And we saw that with the mishap with the F-35, the Marine F-35, where his helmet and the displays, and, you know, there were all kind of issues. But this allows full operation day and night and provides 2D and 3D holographic displays so that the pilot can instantly get vital information anywhere they look. Also use eye tracking for rapid access of information. Audio is projected from the helmet to the headset in the exact direction it comes from. So, if you get like a missile warning, well, it'll sound like it's behind you. And then when you turn, it'll sound like it's in front of you, which is amazing. I mean, it seems common sense, but this is stuff that's not in jets yet. I mean, that's situational awareness. Pilot monitoring. I mean, I don't know what that thing is, but it looks like the thing from Ghostbusters. Data is processed to understand the pilot's mental and physical response to a situation. So a little bit of Big Brother. It's checking your brainwave activity, eye position, heart rate, breathing rate. Can you imagine coming back from a sortie and the data is like, hey, you zoned out from time 55 to 59. What were you thinking about? And it's like, women. What? I was thinking about Friday night. I mean, oh boy, I don't know if I wanted to know all of my thoughts here. This is the passed on onboard intelligence that can step in and assist the pilot, require ensuring the pilot doesn't become overloaded. Man, I'm sorry, Hal. I can't do that. I'm sorry, Dave. Hal is the dude. I'm sorry, Dave. I can't help you with that. You are too distracted right now. I'm taking over so we don't die. Ugh. I don't know about that part. Like, it sounds cool, but then I'm also like, I'm a fighter pilot. I don't need this crap. Advanced life support. This stuff is cool. They vibrate, provide cues, alerts, and warnings. It's like the seat in your Yukon that vibrates to let you know somebody's passing behind you. But it also, I don't know how useful, because a fighter is a tactile environment, right? We use feel to know, when you're on the edge of the envelope and stuff like that. I don't know. I'd be interested to see how it is, but it supports pilots in situations like high G, altitude, temperatures, vibration, long duration mission to make sure they can carry out the mission safely and effectively. Where I see this stuff is like G-lock, the jet will take over if it thinks that you're, loss of consciousness or stuff. Hypoxia, fatigue, maybe it is. You're on an 8-hour mission and, the uppers aren't really working anymore. And so it takes over and lands blame. I mean, that's pretty cool, right? But then at some point you're like, why do we even need that? Factor of the future, I don't care about, but somebody might think that's cool. They've got the demonstrator to test technologies, and that is the rest. I want to see this thing fly. Like, this is all cool, but I would like to see the next phases and the next step and see this thing actually start flying and operating. But if it has all this stuff, I mean, wow, that's really cool. I mean, that's another thing where, I don't know what I don't know on this. I'm old school now, but I'd love to fly something like that with that much tech. It's just, I think too much tech can be a bad thing, because then you get into the what's it doing, but that might be where their AI comes in. But my experience with AI has been, it's good when it's used correctly, but it's not ready yet. It's still doing a lot of stupid stuff. It hallucinates stuff. It can't draw hands, but that obviously those are different types of AI. But in a world where it can take sensor information, assess threats, and spit it out instantly, man, that's pretty useful stuff. So it could be a really cool fighter in general. And then it makes me wonder, what's the 6th gen F-47 going to be like? Like, if this is here, what's the F-47 going to be like? And what's China doing? What's China doing with their J series, 5.5, 6th gen fighters? This is an arms race, and it's heating up. This is cool. I know there's been a lot of news about partners being frustrated with the Tempest program, and that's the other question, is when's this thing gonna start flying and go IOC? It's really great on paper, but if it doesn't fly, it's just on paper. So anyway, you guys tell me. Let's see. All right. Let's see what the people at home are saying. Oh, thanks, Rochelle. Okay, I didn't know that was from you. All right, cool. No, I appreciate that. When are you and Wombat meeting up? I tried to get him to come do a Battle Scarred race, but man, it's too busy. He's too cool for me. Yeah, Chili, I agree. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry, but thanks for doing that. I don't know what happened on 12/12. So, oh, you like the sign? Yeah, nobody sent me that or gave me that. I saw it online. I'm like, I need to class this place up. But I figure I'll only turn it on for the Mover and Gonky show. You know, if I do my own stuff, I won't use it. But it's got like modes, like it can do all kind of crazy stuff. Give you there you go. Pretty cool, huh? Pretty happy with that. Siri is the new Wizzo. Yeah, exactly. More like Alexa. Yeah. Alexa. There was a movie with Jessica Biel. AI is wrong just as often as it's correct about any given topic. Yeah. Yeah. It hallucinates a lot. I try to use it because sci-fi is difficult, right? So I try to use it to keep track of stuff between the two books. And a lot of times it hallucinates details that I'm like, that wasn't in the book at all. Where'd you get that? You know, and then I'm confused. So I end up trying to be unconfused. Yeah, there's a sign in the daylight. It actually says "the" at the top, but it'll screw up the camera angle anymore if I move it. I need turntables, 2 turntables and a microphone. I was sad that you were moving your pick. Don't put Mover in the Jet in the corner. Yeah, but I mean, what am I going to replace? Like, I don't want to replace the me and Luna picture. I don't want to replace my pick with the boys. I miss them. I mean, I guess that tell me how I could move. I could go over by the sim, but it doesn't. I don't know. Mood lighting. I know. Chicks dig it. Chicks dig it. But yeah, those were the 2 topics I wanted to cover. We'll talk about if we do the show tonight. It'll be about some local politics. I think is pretty funny. But other than that, I kind of wish so. Yeah, that is an option, is to move it over. But then I'd have to reposition everything over off to the left. And it was a pain in the butt to put it there. So I don't know. I'm not sure if there's a good way to do this without spending all day doing it. I have not seen Deadly Encounter. No, I have not seen. Sounds like a cool one. Yeah, but the Corvettes take up a lot of. I mean, it'd only be if you're talking about the Corvettes, the ZR1s. Yeah, but the length of that, right? So you wouldn't have. It would just be weird, right? And we need my Halo, so we'll stick with this for a while, see how it works, and if it doesn't work out, then eventually I'll ask Luna what she thinks and see if she wants to move it. I mean, that's all I can do really is get permission from her. Mardi Gras parades start this week. Move my desk? No, I can't move. I don't have any room to move my desk any direction. That's not an option. I think we just stick with it. It's fine. It'll be cool. It'd be cool. But I don't know. That's all the Mover mailbag stuff. Let me see. We check the old actual email. See if you guys had any stuff before I give this up. A lot of people send me stuff in the Mover mailbag and then go, this is not for the Mover mailbag. So I'm like, why did you email Mover mailbag if you don't want it to be a part of the Mover mailbag? Please and thank you. There's something about Operation Sindor. I'm not reading all this. I made that video and people want to convince me, and I honestly do not care. There's your answer. I just go where the data is, and I don't need to be convinced because I have no, there's nothing. I'm not a judge. I don't care. Just it is. It is what it is. I have no personal interest in this matter at all. How many monitors do I have? Technically 3. I'm only running 2 right now. No, Luna's Big Parade is not this weekend. It's the 28th. We've got normal parades. I'm working the street corners for. But we're doing 2 parades this weekend. But no, I don't have. She's not doing her Grand Marshal parade is on the 28th at the Mandeville Lakefront. So come on down from Australia. Come check her out. It's a short flight. Do you see they're doing an NFL game in Australia? That sucks for the players because that's going to be some jet lag. That's right. Working the streets. I got my own area on there. So, and that's it. I'm waiting for word on whether I promote it or not. If you ask Grok, speaking of AI, it says it's a 0% chance that I promoted. And if you ask Gemini, it says about 80% chance. So pick which one you like. I think we'll see. A lot of big decisions if that happens. No, it's not the Saints. Saints are playing in Paris. They're going to Paris. I don't know who's going to Australia. Yeah, pretty much you'd go in a turboprop chili. It's not even, it's so short, you just use a little puddle jumper. It wouldn't be much. Not really. I mean, they usually cook like a hot dog or burgers or something, or bread, beans, and rice, jambalaya, something like that. You know, it's percentage of promotion is Gemini says 80%. Grok says like 5%, 0 to 5%. So depends on which one you think. The Colonel, Mattingly, he was on the show last year. He was our boss. He hired me into my current role, and he moved on, but we've still kept in touch. He's kind of a mentor for me and Gonki. Super awesome dude. He's the kind of leader I'd want to be like, because I've really appreciated him and how he approaches stuff. So he's really cool. Yeah. Oh, my percentage, I think it's unlikely. I really do. Because I waited so long to do Air Command and Staff College. It's the 5th look. And that usually drops your odds pretty heavily. I'd say probably 25%. I think. I'm not Grok where it's 0, but I'm definitely not as optimistic as Gemini. Plans, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It gives me 8 more years if I want it. I'd have to do 3 years to keep it, but it would give me 8 more years total before I hit another mandatory separation date. Because right now my MSD is 1 May. So if I don't promote, I'm done. 1 May. I wouldn't say brought me back to, I was already in Louisiana. Living here, but he gave me a job at Keesler. Seahawks or Pats, I don't care. I hate both teams. If they could both lose, that would be great. As soon as like the Texans, as soon as the Saints were out, which was early in the season, but when the other teams were out, like I was kind of hoping Sean Payton would get something, but he did Sean Payton things. I don't really care about this. Like the script needs to change. They're copying and pasting too much. Have you done Trans-Pacific? I I have done Trans-Pacific, but in the F-16. So, but not Trans-Pacific to your area, but to Hawaii. Been to Hawaii a couple times. I have not. I've heard it's a good book, but now that I'm not an airline guy, I mean, probably just for funsies. Yeah, I was flying T-38s there, John. The 139. It's possible. That's possible. I mean, there's a path for the F-16 too. There's a path for other jets as well. I mean, they're not highly likely paths, but they're possible paths. The thing is, like the 139, if it were more, the problem I have with the 139 is how much of a commitment training wise it is, because even though I'm a law enforcement helicopter pilot, the Air Force does not recognize that, rightfully so. But in the Air Force's mind, I'm a fighter pilot trying to fly helicopters for the first time. So that means I'd have to go to Rucker or Novasil or whatever they're calling it now, do the fixed wing to rotary wing requal course. Then I don't know if they figured out what they do. For a while, they were talking, send you back to Rucker to be an instructor in the Huey, and then go to 139 school after a year. They also talked about sending you to F.E. Warren to get seasoned for a year and then coming back and doing the school to be an instructor, because that unit is an instructor. I mean, they're a schoolhouse. So they want seasoned people and they have specific requirements. So, I mean, you're talking probably 10 to 14 months of full-time orders if you did that job. And I'm not saying I wouldn't do it. I'm just saying, boy, that's a tough sell. You know, I just bought my freedom by quitting the airline. I don't know that I want to do that. But flying a fighter, you know, the Viper would be a shorter commitment, but the real problem is convincing a Viper unit to hire me, because it's been so long since I've flown the F-16, since 2012. And then 2016 since I flew anything with a radar, and then 2022 since I flew anything at all in the military. So I don't know. I don't know. And at this point, I don't even know if I want to, right? I mean, I'm kind of homesteaded at this point. You know, I'm not really interested in being gone that much. I was part of the airline problem, but we'll see. Yes, Lemons race March 7th and 8th at NOLA. Yeah, Carolina and the Broncos were out of lost interest. Same. Yeah, that doesn't interest me. I don't want to fly a Huey. I'd skip that. If I could skip that and go straight to the 139, yeah, sure, we'll talk about that. But because I could do it. I mean, I have no doubt I could do it easily. It's not that hard. Especially flying, 58s and 6s. But a year in Mother Rucker? Yeah, Huey's in the missile field. That was my first Huey station. Yeah, it's a cool mission, but ugh. How much training? So it depends, right? They were doing a thing where they just send you to a SOC, which is a senior officer course, which is about 5 weeks. And then they do everything in-house. That's guard units. A true TX1, which is what I would need, would require me to go to the centrifuge and go do the 9G profile again, which not too interested in. But I would do it if I had to. Then 4 to 5 months at the TX. And then if you like Fat Amy, would be 4 to 5 months plus 2 to 3 years of full-time orders. So, yeah, it's cool, but it ain't that cool, And then, most people don't realize you do that stuff when you're 25 years old, which is when I started flying Viper, 24. That's one thing. You can sit through debriefs. You can nod your head. You can go, yes, sir, no, sir. And, I get to fly a cool fighter. But when you're 43, your bullshit tolerance is much lower. And, having a 20-something-year-old captain tell you your taxi spacing's messed up, or, you didn't do your brake turn right or whatever. It's like, yeah, I don't know. It would have to be a huge attitude adjustment for me to get to that point. Not saying I couldn't. I'm just saying it would be a challenge. And I've got the other part too, and I haven't talked about this because I'm not, but there are some other things that I'm eyeing locally that would probably be more relevant to me and more like bigger, I guess. Not more, obviously not more bigger, but bigger, that I just don't know if I think the whole fighter thing might be behind me. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what it is. We'll see what happens. Golden handcuffs for lead ones. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I said, if it's malleable and something easy to justify, sure. But if it's, a year away, because you can't run the channel, you can't do the books, you can't do any of the other stuff. And it's not that cool of a helicopter for all that. Like, even though it looks like Airwolf, they don't do Airwolf things. It's really not that high speed. I guess it could be. Yeah, the 9G profile released here as an exclusive. I don't have mine I don't have the one for when I went through the first time, but yeah, that would be fun. I mean, I guess that would be the silver lining. Yeah, back and neck. That's another good point. I mean, I'm just now in a position where I'm not as bad as I was flying the T-38. Still pretty bad. I mean, I have my good days and bad, but high likelihood of re-injuring everything in my spine going and flying a jet like that. Airwolf, yeah. I mean, again, looks cool on the ramp, looks cool flying around, but they fly around with the gear down a lot, which is kind of nerdy because they have to. But it's a crew aircraft, right? You're not Stringfellow Hawk flying up front with Dom in the back. You're flying with two pilots and I don't know if it's crew chief, flight engineer, whatever the guy in the back is. You got door gunner sometimes. I mean, that'd be cool, but it's like when I do sheriff's office stuff, I'm basically single pilot. I fly with a TFO and they don't know anything about flying. All they know is the TFO stuff. So I'm a back in my single seat world, which is my happy place. Yeah, I prefer not to personally. Prefer to stay uninjured as well. But we'll see. I mean, I'm not going to say no because I would love to have a third act that involved flying a fighter, but I don't know that anybody would be interested in taking me back into that world because it's been so long. So, teaching as an instructor, what? I mean, the AW-130 or the MH-139 is definitely an instructor job. You mean pilot training? No, I don't want to do pilot training because, again, you'd have to go to Pitt. Pitt is a pretty big commitment, pilot instructor training at Randolph, and then all your time there. And I don't ever want to fly the T-38 again. Like, if it were T-7, maybe T-6, but I did not enjoy the T-38 enough to ever fly it again. Special mission aviator. Yeah, there you go. And I'm not saying never, Hawkeye. I'm just saying that priorities change. And, I've never been a single focused person. I've never been hey, this is all I do. This is all I've ever wanted to do. This is all I ever do kind of person. I like to think that I have many interests and many passions. One of them is sleeping right next to my foot. And that's, to me, is more important. Like I enjoy being a part of my community and helping my community. And, that would be another thing that would have to take a pause if I did that. Yep. There you go. Shark bait. I mean, it happens. It's a young man's game. Why are these starred? Okay. Anyway. Yeah, I try to be diversified, Hawkeye. I try because it gets sad when, you leave something and that's all you've ever known. And I mean, that's why people retire and then they die because they don't know what to do. They don't have a mission anymore and they get depressed and they die. For me, I've always wanted to do everything. So, a lot of things are just side quests. there you go. I don't know what that's in reference to, but I agree. Put another log on the fire. Pass me some bacon. All right. Well, I think we've probably reached the end of this. Let's see. I understand going for duty is kind of a pain in the ass in your position, but maybe we could open some other places like Draken. Yeah, I mean, I've applied to them, but you know, currency's a thing, and it's who you know, and I haven't had any success with it. So I'd love to do a red air gig part time, just to do that, scratch the itch. But I definitely don't want a full time job for sure. So anyway, thanks for joining me on this Wednesday morning. I'm going to clip those two things, put them on the channel. Hopefully they weren't too dumb, but if your guys are around, and we'll do the Everything Else with Mover podcast tonight with Doug, maybe I'll have to check in with him, see if he's up for it. And oh, you made the live show right as I'm signing off. Yeah, I keep looking for signs. You know, I keep saying, hey, when I quit the airline, the signs were pretty clear. Now I'm waiting for the signs on what's next. So we'll see. But thank you, Gundam, Huru, Chili. See y'all tonight. But yeah. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. See you next time.